All right, this video is going to be for how to make a medium grade level city. When I say medium grade, I mean it's not real hard and it's not too easy. This is going to be like right somewhere in between. And that's what I have right here on the picture. I'll zoom in. So this is not my finished picture, but this is what I have going on. I see some mistakes here, but that's okay. At this point, I have my background, I have my sun, my sky. These are going to be my clouds. And now I'm starting to build my middle ground. And that the middle ground for my picture is my city. So let's look at my city. So I have, this is my reference photo. This is the city I'm working with. This was my background. And yes, the background for this doesn't look exactly the same, but that's okay. I embellished, meaning I kind of made it up a little bit. I took the liberty to, add some things, and that's okay. But now, today I'm going to create my middle ground, which is my buildings. The best tool for this, which you should already know, is going to be the polyline tool. That is going to let us trace over top of these buildings and make them look similar. And also, do not forget, even though a lot of this stuff in this picture is the middle ground, we're still going to be working from the furthest back to what is in front. So like this building is behind this building. So you want to make this building first. So you want to have to look at what is here and see what is behind which thing to know which one to do first. All right, so enough talking. I already have two in my slides or in my preview section. I already have two versions of my city or two copies of it. This is the one I'm gonna show you how to do, and let's get to it. All right, so I'm gonna go to my polyline, click on that. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit also. So got my magnifying glass right from up there. I clicked it once. Whoa, messed up on me. Come on, come back. Oh, you know what I did? Here we go. And that's good enough. So go back to my polyline. So what building is the furthest back? There's a building here you can't see very good because it's behind those two. There's a building here. There's this building. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm going to pick this one. And because it's behind, and I know these other buildings are going to cover it up, it doesn't need to be as nice. Nobody's really going to see it that much. It's a thing where I don't need to do as much detail on it because these buildings will cover it up. So as you can see, I just made a rectangle with my polyline. I'm going to go to the fill color and I have to make it transparent. I made it transparent so I can still see the other buildings. So that way, when it's time for me to work on them, I don't have to make it clear or try to guess what these buildings look like. All right, so back to polyline. What else? This building right here, this is on a slant. So I'm gonna click and click over, and that's it. Hey, got two buildings already. I'm gonna do this one here next. This one is behind that one. And let me not forget to make this transparent. So now this building has this weird little curve on it, but I'm going to ignore the curve. Like, see, I have to miss that part. That's okay. And then I don't have to worry about it because it's going to be behind that building. Just want to make sure this part looks good. There we go. So that's that building. Make it transparent. Fill color transparent. All right, so I have 3 buildings that are behind. So let's start moving up. Let's try this building next. And now this is where you're gonna have to pay attention if you're making buildings to what the buildings are doing. So if you see, you can see this building has like 2 angles. So it has a flat surface here and it has a separate flat surface that goes like slant and then down. So I'm gonna do those 2 separate. Do you always have to do that? No. But if you want it to look nice, yes. Click. And I'm going to click here. I'm going to come down. And I'm doing the part that's furthest away first, as with everything. All right, so that's the first half. Now let's do the second half. And I'm leaving the polyline, I'm leaving the fill color on so I can see where I went previously. There we go. Turn her invisible or turn her transparent. Oh, transparent. All right. What else is behind here? I have this building here. And this one is on 2 sides. It has 2 sides also. So it has this flat surface here and this flat surface here, kind of like a cube. So I'm gonna do the part that's furthest away first. So it's slant it down a little bit. So I don't want to make a big slant, but just a little slant. Comes down. And then these separate sections, when I start coloring them, I'll make them 2 different colors. And then that's what's gonna make it look nice. And then here. Okay, and we're just making squares really. And I'm not going, I mean, you can, but I'm not going to do all that extra stuff. Remember, we're simplifying it in the end. The end goal here is not to make everything look 100% the same. We're simplifying. All right, so let me move up now. So now let's work on like some of these buildings in the front. Let me get the easier ones first. So this one is easy. Oh, that one's in front of this one. So I have to do this one first. Polyline. And this has a little weird angle on it, but I'm going to ignore that just for time. This building here is just going to have to be a rectangle. And you can make decisions like this on your own too for time. You might be watching the video and you're like, man, it's going to take long. Throw a rectangle in there for one of your buildings, and then you don't have to, you know, maybe focus on making, I'm gonna do this one next. Maybe focus on making 2 or 3 buildings really nice, the ones that really stand out to you. And then the rest of them, maybe you can just make them more rectangle. So I'm using the word maybe because you have to think for yourself what you're making. You can't have me tell you everything, because then if I tell you how to make every single piece, it's not going to be your picture anymore. It's going to be my picture, just you tried to make it. So I want you to make your own picture. I want you to think about how to make it. All right, so this one's going to be a square too. I think it has a slant there, but we're going to square this guy. All right, let's try to get some of these more difficult buildings now. So this one is a 2 slant, or it has 2 faces. So 1, 2. So that one's a little bit more hard. This one has 1, 2. There's a little building in here we'd have to do first. This one has these 2 pieces on top. So let's do those. All right, let's get some of them out of the way, and then we can start coloring. All right, so this one, we're pretty good here on this part, so I can go up. Has like these steps on it, so I'm just going to cheat a little bit here and just make it 3 steps maybe. Yeah, 3 is good enough. Then it comes over, then it's got to come down. And then down. And then this has one of those 2 sides. And this is one of, like, to me, I mean, you might think differently if you're doing something like this, but this is one of like the major buildings of Houston, of the Houston skyline. So because it's a building that stands out, I'm going to put a little bit more effort into this building. So then we're going to slant, go down, slant, go down. And I should have done, I'm going against my own rule, I should have done this other part first, but that's okay, I can fix it. The best part about working with the computer, you can always fix your mistakes. All right, so let's unclick here. So as you can see, this part is now in front of this part. What do you do when that happens? You're going to click on it and say Control down, and then it fixes it. You might need to hit Control down more than once, but Control down when something is on top of each other and there shouldn't be, that's an easy way to fix it. All right, so I have this building, this little guy back here. Actually, I need to do this one first. I'm not going to do that one. I'm just going to do this little guy, and then I'll do 1 and 2, and then I'll start coloring it in. And that's going to be for time. I can't do the whole thing. So that one can be a sloppy one. Let's make it transparent. And now I got to do this one. Start with the part that's furthest away. It's slanted just slightly. It won't let me slant it, but that's okay. Almost done here. And I'm just going to leave that like that for now. Then we have this one. Start with the part that's furthest away. And back to my poly tool. All right. So now let's start filling these guys in. So I'm going to zoom out. And for zoom out, I'm just going to hit the magnifying glass, the arrow next to the magnifying glass, and then say fit. That pushed me pretty far out. And then I'm going to try to click on the different things here and make them the color. So things that are further away, I'll make them a dark color. Things that are closer, you're going to try to make them a little bit lighter, or you can do the other way around. I'm doing dark because it seems like there's shadows here. So the shadow parts are going to be like the buildings that are behind. I have to zoom back in. I know I said to zoom out, but I have to zoom back in. There we go. This is my other one. So when it has the 2 sides to the building, one side has to be a color and then the other side has to be another color. So that way you can tell the difference between the 2. And I'm about to click on the wrong thing. This one, I'm going to make it darker. slide over here. And this is why I had zoom in. So see what I'm saying? Like the ones that are behind, like it has this light part, but it also has a dark part. So I'm thinking that if I do the dark ones, the ones that are further back darker, I think I'll be a little bit better off. Let me see the original color here. All right, so this one has a shadow on it too, but I'm gonna count this one as lighter. And then we'll see what this part says or looks like. So then this has a bigger shadow. So darker here. And you can try to color them the same color as the buildings. That might be nice too. So like this one is like a grayish. And then we're gonna do a darker version. This one is like blue. This one is black actually, but we'll just make it gray. Hold on a second. All right, I want to look at the color on there. The building I'm missing here, maybe not. This one's like a grayish. I don't like the way that's coming out. You don't want the buildings to be all the same colors. You know, they gotta have them, get them to be mixed up a little bit. All right, so let's see what I have here now. Zoom out. And there, that's not looking too bad. All right, so then those will be my buildings. At least I have the shapes of them. I can always go and correct stuff. If you have trees like lines, really for my trees for this one, all I chose was the clouds. So I went to shape and then I went and got the cloud tool. And I just went and put a tree. I took the, go to pencil, take the border color off. And for fill, just went and got green. And I said Control C, Control V. And this is something you might want to change in the future. Control C, Control V. Control V. V. Control V. And then starting to look like the trees the more you do it. And once you have a good bunch of trees, let me see, let me try to get a few here. Once you get a good amount of them, you can start going and changing the colors. So some of them are different greens. So that way you have a large variation between the trees. So they're not all just the same color. That one's not working out for me. Something like that. Let's see what that looks like without the picture on there. And that works. So this is the beginning. This is how you would get your buildings. After you get your buildings, you would go and then start putting the detail that you need to do on the buildings. And I'll have a video for that. All right, that is the end for this one. Hopefully it wasn't too long, but I'll see you in a couple minutes. See you in class.